everybody, welcome back to TechOdyssey. So I'm here today with another 5 things I don't like about a phone. And this time, down the sights, is the Samsung Galaxy Fold 3. Yes, it's the Fold 3. And some of you might be thinking, but it's such an amazing phone. I mean, it is. It's a good phone, but that doesn't mean that there isn't room for improvement. There aren't things that we don't like. So the first thing that I want to start off with, and I mean, this one is a little questionable in some ways because you can get the Stylus, you can get the Pro Stylus. This is what I don't like. The first thing, I don't like the S Pen. The S Pen itself, they should have included it with the phone. Yes, it does not come with the phone. You have to buy it separate, and it either comes by itself, and it was like $50 or something like that. It was not cheap, or you could get it with the case. So I've got the Samsung official silicone case, which the cases is a whole nother story. We could talk about that all day long. But yeah, one, it costs you $50. It doesn't come with the phone. It doesn't have a compartment for you to put it in. And yeah, you have to buy it separately. So that right there, the first thing right off the bat, I do not like the S Pen for that very reason. And also, it doesn't have any of the smart features. This is a dumb S Pen. It doesn't do anything unless you get it directly up on the screen and then you press the button. And that's about it. It has to be like that far away from the screen. You can erase stuff and a couple other things. There's just not a whole lot that it does functionality-wise. And that's the thing I don't like. I do not like the S Pen. Now, I like the size of the S Pen. It would be nice if it came with the S Pen Pro for the Fold. That would have been great. That would have been helpful. But still, there's nowhere to put it. You have to use one of these janky cases. And it just really kind of takes away from the experience. So that's the first thing. The second thing that I don't like, and this is kind of two-part. One, it involves the stylus. Two, it involves the phone itself. Because we have this gigantic crease. Now, the crease itself, I think is worse than it was on the Fold 2. The Fold 2, it was kind of a soft little channel, little indentation. Wasn't that bad, but because they reinforced this ultra-thin glass, they made it like 80% more durable. It is thicker. I think it's thicker. It's definitely more sturdy. It has more snap to it. It's more rigid when you have the crease here. So what happens is, whenever you cross this crease with the S Pen, it stops it all the time. So if you're drawing something, if you're trying to write something, if you're trying to take notes, if you're trying to do some squiggly stuff, it disrupts it and it breaks whatever you're trying to do all the time. All the time it does this. And of course, we couldn't compare that with the old one because there was no stylus support for the Fold 2. But this one, yes, they need to improve the crease. This crease is disruptive to the S Pen, and the rumor is that the Fold 3 is going to have an S Pen with it, that it's going to have a slot, or it's going to have an actual S Pen that comes with it. They need to work this out, because if you look at other phones, you look at the Motorola Razr, you look at the Oppo Find N, you look at some of these other ones, they're using a little bit different design that don't have these harsh creases right in the middle of the screen. So that is the second thing I don't like. I don't like the groove. I don't like the fold. I don't like the crease. Whatever you want to call it, right down the middle. They need to do something about that, especially if you're thinking about including an S Pen with it, because the S Pen performance needs to increase and get better. So I like the idea that we're supposedly going to get that in the Fold 4, but with the Fold 3, same thing with complaint number 1. You don't have anywhere to put it. You got to buy this janky case. You got to pay extra money for it. And then when you do try to use it, it's halfway. It's just not that great of an experience. It can be helpful. I use it for making my thumbnails all the time, but yes, that right there, kind of a pain in the rear end. So that's the second thing I don't like. The third thing I don't like, the cameras. Spending $17.99 for a phone, they cheaped out and they used the same cameras and they didn't really get improved all that much. They didn't. They should have been better, especially for being this flagship premium. Now, I get it. We've had issues with supply chain and all sorts of stuff for the last 2 years, but that's no reason to cheap out. If you can't make it right, don't make it at all. Like, they could have punted it down the road, right? It's not something that we have to have, but there just wasn't that much innovation there. And when you're spending $1,799, I expect the best. So it felt like they really just kind of cheaped out on that. They passed off on it. And again, they're okay cameras. They're not bad at all. But when you're spending almost $2,000 for a phone, you get pretty critical about this stuff. I mean, if you're not critical about a $2,000 phone, because even where I'm at, okay, $1,799, you add some sales tax on that, which let me get the handy dandy calculator here real quick because I can't do this on my head. So sales tax where I live is 8.25%. So $1,799 times 1.0825 is $1,947. It's a $2,000 phone, especially when you got to pay the extra $50 for the stylus. You got to buy a case, all that stuff. $2,000. you need to go big or go home. You can't be cheaping out on the cameras. Now, again, they're good cameras. They're not bad, but they could have been better, especially for the price point. So that's the third thing that I don't like. The fourth thing that I don't like is this under-the-screen camera. Now, the under-the-screen camera, it's okay. They were trying to be innovative, but I don't see the necessity in it. And from all intents and purposes, looks like they've abandoned it for the rest of the stuff that this was supposed to be leading the way for. So I wish they would have put a regular camera in here, because when you use it, yeah, it's okay, but I always find myself using the one on the front. Like, this one is a tremendously better camera. I wish they would have just used the same one on the back again. I don't think anybody really cares that much. And yeah, okay, it was cool in the name of progress, and you can still use this one, but I think everybody just uses this one. I pretty much never use the one on the inside. It's just not that great. So that's the fourth thing that I don't like. And the fifth thing that I don't like, you can't use the S Pen on the front screen. And I guess I could lump this in with the first one. The S Pen integration on this just is not very well thought out. They went cheap, they didn't integrate it very well, and it's like, okay, we'll hold off. We'll purposely hold off, which is the reason, that's the intent that I apply to this, because why would you give it S Pen support? Why would you make it work on the soft screen on the inside and then not put it on the front, right? That's dumb. They should not have done that. They should have gone ahead and put it on here. People are going to buy the Fold 4 whether or not it has that support anyway, so don't hold off on it. Give it to us now. I don't think it really would have added any much extra money for them to do that. It's not like this research and development needs to be going into it. We know how to use a stylus. They can use a stylus. They're the king of the S Pen. So it's just an arbitrary thing I think they did to give people a reason to upgrade next year, and that's just not cool in my book. And I have one last thing I want to talk about, the battery life on here. The battery life is not great. It's okay, but when you consider how big this phone is, I really feel like maybe they could have stuck some extra battery somewhere. It doesn't even have a 5,000 milliamp battery, and I really haven't found it to be that great. It's okay. For the longest time, I've really only got about 4.5, 5 hours of screen on time. So I know some people may be getting better, and I haven't tested it out extensively to where I just sit there and use it all day long since I got Android 13, but the standby time is bad. I will use it to edit and make a thumbnail, which might take me 20, 25 minutes. I'll grab it the next night, and it'll be from 80% down to like 46%. And that's not even on LTE. That's only on Wi-Fi. The battery drain on mine has not been good. The battery life just is not that impressive. It's nothing really to take home, and I think that it should be better, especially when we're talking about using a $2,000 phone. They could have put a little bit extra in that department, and it really feels like they kind of cheaped out on this phone in comparison to the Fold 2. The Fold 2, great. So many accolades, so many improvements, so many things that they re-envisioned, that they did bigger, better, stronger, faster, and more amazing than the Fold 1. And then this one, it's like, okay, we did a little bit extra, like just a little bit extra. And oh, by the way, guys, we took $200 off. But then it's like, okay, there's no expandable storage. The S Pen experience is kind of cheap. It's still got the big crease in it. The cameras aren't that great. The battery life could be better. There's just not a lot of things here that scream, okay, this is really an amazing upgrade over the Fold 2. And I basically told everyone beforehand, if you don't want the S Pen, don't buy this because you're better off with the Fold 2. So those are the things I don't like. It's actually the 6 things I don't like, kind of because I combine the S Pen in about 2 or 3 different things. So we'll call it still the 5 things I don't like about it, but that's the 5 things I don't like about the Fold 3. Now, don't run away with this and be like, oh my gosh, TechOdyssey hates the Fold 3. I enjoy it. I like using it a lot. But if we're going to talk about things, room for improvement, things where I think they cheaped out, some decisions that could have been done differently, that's my thoughts. That's what I think about it. And those are the 6 things that I really think could be better with this phone that I'm not crazy about. So that's all I've got for this video. If you have any questions or comments, things you want to talk about, go to the comment section. I'm sure there's some things that you don't like. We could also talk about the warranty, because maybe to install a little more confidence, they could give you a 2-year warranty on the screen instead of 1, because I've heard some people's have kind of started failing, and it's only about 9 months old. So yes, it's always a mixed bag. You never know with people and their phones and how they use them. I don't have any cracks or creases or anything in mine other than the one that's already there. So maybe I've been lucky. I use mine every single day. I have noticed the hinge has gotten a little looser over time, but I think that's pretty well normal. But yeah, do you have any complaints, any things you think that you would like to see better for the Fold 4? Sound off in the comment section and we'll talk about it. And if you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.